by the Great Hornspoon by Sid Fleischman. Hi class, we're going to read the second half of chapter 11 today. So I think it's going to be on page 119. Praiseworthy peered at the man. Apparently shooting at strangers by mistake didn't amount to anything in the diggings. The miner hardly gave it another thought. How about a cup of jamocha? Jamocha, said Praiseworthy. Coffee. I got a pot working on the fire. Where are you strangers from? Pitchpine Billy Pierce, they call me. And I'd be rightly pleased if you did the same. Shucks, looked like I wore a whole plum through your washpan. Good shooting, though, weren't it? Praiseworthy put his finger through the hole. The washpan was useless. Perfect shooting, sir. No hard feelings, said Pitchpine Billy. I can show you more ways to wash gold than skin a cat. Let's get the coffee. Put hair on the boy's chest. Here, son? Jack looked up at Praiseworthy. My son, the butler started to explain, but the miner didn't leave a long enough pause. Mississippi McFinn has his 2 boys with him. I hear they just struck it rich over at Poverty Hill. And then there's the Peterman boy. He and his pa's trying their luck at Swellhead Diggins. What's your name, boy? Jack. You look powerful clean for a young'un. It don't seem natural somehow. Why, your ears shine like new minted gold pieces. Jack felt his face redden, and he glanced at Praiseworthy. I'm not going to wash for a week, he thought, or a month, or maybe even until we get back to Boston. There was an air of hospitality about the miner that pleased Praiseworthy, and he forgave him the hole in the gold pan. Sir, a cup of coffee would taste fine. Pitchpine Billy led them to a weathered canvas tent pitched along the slope. The coffee pot was boiling merrily. He filled 3 tin cans. Black. Black as paint, it looked to Jack. He had never tasted coffee in his life. Aunt Arabella would be furious. He looked at Praiseworthy, and Praiseworthy gave him a nod, as if to make up for having Jack wash his ears back at the hotel. The tin cans were so hot they felt as if they had just been forged. Jack sat on a rock to let the brew cool. Although Praiseworthy's coat and valor had fallen to the wayside, he clung to the black umbrella as a last badge of his calling. A butler, mused Pitchpine Billy. He drank his coffee down, steam and all. You any relative to Hemp Butler over at Muletown? The name is Praiseworthy, not Butler, sir. The man crimped an eye. You don't say. Well, he calls himself Butler, old Hemp does. Never knowed his name was Praiseworthy, but I always figured him for the shifty type. How about 10-Spot Butler over at Poker Flat? He your folks? There seemed no point in trying to make himself clear, and Praiseworthy let it go. Tell me, Mr. Pierce. Just call me Pitchpine Billy. How do we stake a claim? Easy. Find yourself a piece of real estate nobody's working, and pound 4 pigs in the corners. Put tin cans on them so folks can see. Rags'll do. And you got yourself a legal claim. That's miner's law. As long as you work at it at least 1 day a month, it stays yours. He laughed and stroked his beard. Of course, the other 30 days you got to stand around shooting off squatters and claim jumpers. He refilled his tin can. Why, there are places along the river where the claims is only 4 foot square and the boy is digging out a fortune, back to back. Jack finally picked up his tin can. The steam alone was like a dragon's breath. Now he was almost sorry Praiseworthy had given him a nod. At the first taste, the coffee bit his tongue. Drink up, Jack. Jamocha Jack. That's what we'll call you. A man ain't really accepted around here until he's won himself a nickname. So that's cool that Jack has himself a nickname now. Best coffee I've ever tasted, Jack said hoarsely. Plenty more in the pot. I ground in a few acorns for flavor. Jack winced inwardly. Jamocha Jack. The name pleased him, but he wasn't sure he could win it. The coffee stung and burned and tasted poisonous. He forced out another mouthful. He was afraid the miner would take back the name if he didn't drain the can. He tried another swig, but it wouldn't go down. So, especially drinking coffee for the first time, coffee is pretty strong, and then this is a super, super strong type of coffee. So I'm sure it's really bitter. Praiseworthy, catching Jack's distress out of the corner of his eye, shifted his position. The tip of his umbrella jiggled Jack's elbow, and the tin can jumped. The coffee spilled. So there's Praiseworthy, always having Jack's back. He knew Jack didn't like it, so he tried to make it spill. "Oh, it's no account," said Pitch-Pine Billy. He lifted the pot and refilled Jack's can. Oh, no. "We don't stand on table manners out here." Jack gulped and stared at the fresh, steaming black potion of coffee. He had to begin all over again. Praiseworthy gave him a compassionate glance. He considered it his duty to look out for Jack, but now he had only made matters worse. "Let me show you how to wash out gold without water," Pitch-Pine Billy was saying. "Take your hornspoon, boy, and scrape me some dirt from the crack in that rock." It's places like that in the Spangles like to hide, if there is any. Jack was glad to set the coffee aside to cool. He slipped the hornspoon from his belt and turned eagerly to the crack in the rocks. "Just a handful, boy." Jack scraped away, gathering up the river sand and bits of dead pine needles. The hornspoon worked fine. It got in the cracks. He filled the miner's outstretched hand and sat on his heels to watch. "This is a trick the Sonorians use," said Pitch-Pine Billy. "They come from Sonora, down Mexico way. Water must be scarcer than gold around there. We call this dry washing." He poured the dirt in a small stream from fist to hand, like sand in an hourglass, while at the same time blowing on it. Sand and pine needles scattered under the force of his breath. He poured again and again, and each time the handful of dirt grew smaller. "Grain for grain, gold is 8 times heavier than sand. If you blow just right, the spangles fall and the lighter stuff goes flying." Jack bent closer. Finally, Pitch-Pine Billy had nothing left to blow. He let out the rough palm of his hand and laughed. "Boy, you struck it rich already. Look there." So I think we will stop there on page 124. Chongo says, thank you for listening.